Hey everyone, this is Jasper. I am just here to talk about how to defend a monument in the Overcast Network. If you've never heard of the Overcast Network, essentially it's just a very popular Minecraft PvP server. I'll put a link in the description and send you to the website so you can check them out. I do recommend them. Defense in Project Ares is just as important, if not more important, to winning. If you are going to defend a monument, you really need to know the most common offensive strategies. And this is the monument I'm referring to. It is the Obsidian monument. I know they look a little bit different sometimes, but this is kind of the basic setup. So the most common strategy that I see when defending is really simple. Basically what I see is the players will try to get up onto the top like this, and then they'll build themselves a little fortress, and they'll start to take out the monument from there. Okay? And it's a good strategy. I use this all the time. They can get covered up when they crouch. No one's going to see that they're there. And no one will, if no one's paying attention, no one's going to know that they're there until it's really too late. So what we want to do is we want to prevent that as much as possible. And the best way to do that is uncover the monument. When we do have the monument covered like that, like it was before, we really don't, it just makes it a lot easier for people to build. When it's uncovered like this, they kind of have to spend more time building up the blocks around them so that they can hide themselves. It's just an extra thing to add. Alright, so now that everything's been cleared, it's time to really decorate it. So let me go ahead and pull a few resources. So the first item that we might want to put on the monument is buttons. And really the idea of doing this is just to help prevent them from easily being able to kind of build off like that. If they really have the time, they can kind of find that right spot to build it there, but it makes it really difficult. So having something like buttons is definitely a preference. Another thing we can use is signs. This is my personal favorite. First of all, you can say, little messages like, hello, but they also, they're a lot thinner than buttons, and they're kind of difficult to build on top of. Alright, I've also heard that trapdoors are generally a good idea, and I can see the reason why. They're thin, they cover up the whole monument, and I guess they do block picks. But what I found also is that if you drop down and you spend a second to unshift, just for a split second, they're very easy to build upon. So if you're going to use trapdoors, I highly recommend you just keep them up like that, and don't leave them down, because if someone drops down, it's very easy to build upon. Now, the other thing that I've seen some people use is fences. Now, the theory is, and the idea is that if you have the monument completely surrounded by fences, it will be blocked off, and so on and so forth. However, fences, like the trapdoors when they're down, are very easy to build upon, and that's really what we're trying to prevent, is anyone from building upon that. So I highly recommend not using fences of any kind. Now that we have the monument nicely defended, what I like to do is sometimes just add this little half slab on top and bottom, and that's really just to kind of add and buy yourself a little bit of time. It's nothing huge, there's nothing they can really do to help themselves. It's just something that I like to add. I'm gonna kill this. I swear. Oh jeez, you're gonna die. I hate you so much. You just make noise. So a good idea is to build a pit around the monument. This forces the enemy team to build a larger tower when they're trying to get to the top of your monument, and it also causes a little bit more falling damage to this. Now, there are some differences between what I have here and what it's going to look like in the arena. First of all, this is going to be probably a little bit wider than it is right now. It's also going to be a bit deeper. There's never really going to be a situation where there's a bigger pit and it's only 2 blocks taller than, 2 blocks deeper than the original pit. But you will oftentimes see a slide of obsidian right here, right under the monument. And this was kind of initiated, I think, because of the Nile was really the reason, is people would build these really big pits and make them really large, and the monument would be just suspended in the middle of air, and no one would ever be able to get to them. That's really the basic idea of what we're going to see. We can improve upon this, and what I like to do is add some wooden slabs across. Another thing you can use is pressure plates, but I prefer, honestly, the slabs. The slabs are kind of cheaper to make. 3 wood blocks are going to create 6 of them. When you have pressure plates, 2 wood blocks are only going to make 1 of them. So I've tried making tons of pressure plates before. It really sucks up your resources, and resources in project areas is not always the easiest thing to come by. The advantage to having pressure plates is that they do make noise when you're on top of them. So if an enemy is trying to sneak by, you're going to hear this clip, 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 clip of them pushing down on the pressure plates. The other thing about the half slabs is they take longer to break, so that the enemy will spend more time digging here than they would with a pressure plate. But the idea here is just to make it difficult for them to tower up. If they have the half slabs here, you notice that I can't build on them. So that just makes things a lot more difficult to tower up, and it just buys you more time to see them, to attack them, and to finish them off while they're trying to get at the monument. So as a general rule of thumb, it's really a good idea to keep this whole area clear of clutter and anything else. If there's any like nearby buildings, something right here, you probably might want to get rid of that, take some teammates and help try to clear out some part of that building, just so that the enemy can't sneak around inside of it. And the other thing is if they build like a big tower right here and they start, bridging across, and you shoot them off and kill them, and you leave this here, the enemy really can just kind of come back and run across this thing, and boom, they're right there. So you really want to keep this whole place clear. It makes things difficult for the enemy to sneak through you. It's also, very easy for you to get wherever you need to go. If there's enemies right over there, you can run over there and kill them. If someone manages to land in this pit area from above, you can easily come by and get them again. Another thing I generally avoid doing is putting water inside the bottom of the pit. The really reason is water, with today's Minecraft system, you can survive a fall in 1 bucket of water. So even if I was, let's say, way up here, I'm going to give this a better visual demonstration. If I'm way, way, way up here, and I set myself to game mode 0, I'm going to survive the fall. I'm not going to take any falling damage whatsoever. So really, honestly, I like to keep people taking their falling damage, because that weakens them, and it makes them so much easier to take care of once they're in the pit. Now, sometimes people suggest covering the monument completely up with water like this. If you're anywhere within this area, you're completely surrounded in water. There are advantages to this, of course. I mean, it takes longer to destroy the monument. They have to survive, they have to be able to breathe, so they can't really just kind of stick around and swim there. They also move slowly, so it's easy to figure them out and take care of them. I can see a lot of advantage to that, and this would be kind of the way to go for when it comes to defending cores. But I personally prefer something along the lines of this. This is what I would call the ideal monument defense. You've got a pit that's really 3 things long, so you can jump across it, but it's kind of easy to fall into if you're someone from a different team. it's also completely covered in half slabs here, and you have some buttons on the walls, and really the buttons on the walls just make it impossible really to tower up right next to the monument. You have to have it in this one place. The other thing I included here is a ladder, and that's just for teammates. One of the most frustrating things is when you're trying to cover your pit in half slabs, or you're trying to work on your pit, a teammate falls down in, and they just tower themselves out like that. And you have to spend the next, 2 or 3 minutes taking it out. So having a ladder or a staircase or something on the edge of the pit so that your teammates can get out if they need to is really important. I hope you guys take this to the next battlefield, and I hope that we don't have to make little bickers over how to defend, like I have in the past. That's one thing I will forewarn you about building defenses, is some people will insist on covering up the monument, not with obsidian, but with, whatever building material they can get their hands on. And it can be frustrating because they'll threaten to report you, and I really honestly have been reported several times for trying to build this kind of monument, but an entire team of people who just want to cover up the core entirely and hide it. Well, that's really it, guys. I hope you guys found this really helpful. If you have any questions or tips or advice to give me, feel free to leave that in the comments. I will try to get back to you guys on that kind of thing. This isn't really my primary channel. I don't really know what I'm going to be doing with it, so if you subscribe, it's at your own risk. I could be posting a video of, me riding my bike as a 4-year-old as my next video. So there's no guarantees on anything. So I hope you enjoyed this. Good luck on the battlefield. I'll see you guys out there, and have a lot of fun.